Hi, how are you everyone? I wanted to come on and share this beautiful realization. I was just my client just left and we actually had, oh hi Barb, how are you? We actually had this really interesting conversation about following your intuitive nudges and where they will lead you, and sometimes leading you into very unexpected places, right? And and what it's like to follow those nudges. And so, hi Karen, how are you? And so I wanted to share a really quick story on that happening to me just a few days ago, actually, in a really interesting way, and how it just reminded me of how beautifully the magic of, your inner guidance and your intuition can really guide you. And so if you're watching, feel free to comment, say hello. I'd love to hear from you. And same if you're watching the replay, let me know that you've joined me, and I'd love to read and reply back. And so I was in the woods on my regular path that I normally walk in when I go for my walks. And so it goes along a lake, and so I was walking and walking, and I just felt like in a split second, this moment that I looked, I was walking with the lake to my left, and I looked over, and I'm like, oh, that seems interesting over there. I don't even know what it was that caught my interest, but just the way the trees were positioned and the way the light was shining through. I thought, I'm gonna go take a picture of that. That looks so beautiful. And so I just followed that nudge and I went off the trail, and then I went to the spot, took some pictures, and I sat there for a moment, and I even sat in meditation for a moment and absorbed all the nature and all the beauty. And then I walked back up from the lake, back to the trail so I could find my way home. And what was really interesting, and I'll share the photo in the comments so you can actually see the photo and what I'm talking to as well, is that on my way back, leaning against a tree, was a rock that someone definitely would have painted like at home, this beautiful white painted rock with a mermaid tail on it. And I thought that was very interesting that it wasn't placed facing the trail where people normally walk, that you literally had to go off the trail to discover this rock. And it sat with me for the entire walk. I'm like, wow, this is neat. Like, what is Spirit showing me here? And I could feel that there was a deeper message. And so when I, really sat with it, and the resonance that I felt from it was, how interesting it is throughout our lives that, we feel like we've gone off the path sometimes. But it's in the doing and in the going off the path that we find that we've never actually gone off the path at all, and that we've discovered beautiful things along the way. And so it's all about trusting those nudges and those impulses. And you never know where it's going to lead you. And it's really neat because, yes, it's a very, simple example, but it applies to even the bigger things in life. What nudges are really calling for you to follow? Even though you have no idea why you want to go there, right? Just something that sparkly catches your eyes and you're just curious. Follow your curiosity and follow that light. And that's what it's all about. And that's how, we are just guided. Almost like, another example is if you were in a cafe and you decide to sit in a certain seat that draws your attention, in one corner versus the other corner. Well, you might happen to be, and this actually happened to myself before, where I was meeting a friend and we sat for coffee and we just chose a random spot. And there was no coincidence, because we had a very in-depth spiritual conversation. She's another healer, and we're getting really deep. And all of a sudden, this teenage girl, turns around, tears streaming down her face. And she looks at us and she said, "I've been listening to your entire conversation, and I want to let you know that this conversation, I feel, has changed my life." Because she admitted that she's been skipping school, and it was middle of the day and she should have been in school, and she's been skipping school because she has been struggling with feeling so sensitive and really scared of her awakening. And it was really interesting, and we brought clarity and depth and understanding to what she's going through. And so we invited her to the table and sat with her and held space for her. And we listened, and it was so powerful, because when she left, we looked at each other, my friend and I, and we're like, holy shit. Talk about divine timing, and talk about, that young girl following her nudge to go to that Starbucks that day. Us following our nudge. And the funny thing is we were supposed to meet at one time, and then I had to reschedule, and then she had to reschedule, and these things kept on happening. And obviously we were being placed in alignment, and to just trust. And it was just so, so cool to see that. So yeah. So really the thought that I'd like to share with you guys is, what nudges do you feel, and what draws your attention, and go there, and trust in that. And that is a beautiful, a beautiful way of following those intuitive nudges and guidance. So I just wanted to share that very quick story. Oh, hi, Marianne. Hi, Kaylin. I'm just going to sign off now, but go back and watch the replay. And thank you so much for joining me. And I'm going to enjoy the rest of the day. Probably go back to the path. I'm going to check out and see if the mermaid tail is there. But I'm going to post the picture, because it's just so cool when this shit happens. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.